Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Peace Peace Peace. Sadguru Shivananda Maharaji ki Jai. Shri Guru Vishnudevananda Maharaj ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning. So we're going to do some teachings on teachings of Swami Vishnudevananda from this beautiful book called Vishnudevananda Upadesha. So auto, you have to choose a number between 5 and 200. Just choose a number. 44. 44. Beautiful number. Oh, what a cute Swami Vishnu is playing with the baby. And this is from the chapter called Mind. So Swami Vishnu says, a thought can be either negative, positive, or shallow. So positive or negative means that this thought is charged with an emotional energy. So if the emotional energy is powerful, then it creates, this peak or valley. If it's not really charged with emotional content, then it's shallow. It doesn't really rise or come too far down. When thought becomes negative, it is very painful. And when it is positive, it lifts you up. So we can say that the emotions that are connected to our thoughts are like, to some extent, either a brake or a gas pedal, or sometimes a reverse. So when a positive emotion is connected to a thought, and the positive idea is that this thought, this idea, this representation this in my mind can be achieved, can be manifest, can be grasped, then it elevates us. It puts it's like pressing the gas pedal, and there is a momentum, there is excitement, there is motivation, and I feel that I can do it. Now, the thing is that sometimes later on in life, I will really regret it. I say, what have I done? So sometimes, you see, the positivity of the feeling doesn't mean that the content of the thought is really absolutely positive or absolutely good. But at least at the moment, it really feels good, okay? And when it feels good, again, this is something that we have to really, the yogis are telling us this kind of discrimination has to be practiced, has to be really felt and realized deep inside of us, that although sometimes something really feels good, it's not necessarily good. Nowadays we can see it with food. There are foods that, there are certain amounts of sugars that are put in those foods, and there are certain kinds of flavor chemicals that are put in this food, which makes the food really taste really taste good. And, the mind, our system is quite, primitive. So our system doesn't really realize that food can be processed. For our system, food is something that is part of nature, that Mother Nature very wisely, packed it in such a form that will actually nourish us. But we have overridden it. We took the food, we process it, and we make it very value, let's say, in terms of money, very value attractive and very taste attractive, but it's actually quite empty of the nutrients. So we become really overfed and really undernourished. Okay? And it's not only on the food level, it's on the emotional level. A lot of the content that we are, consuming through television and now through the internet and social media and TikTok, it becomes more condensed, more short. So we can, take more of it and a lot of it and many. And it's always very exciting, but it's very shallow. So we become also mentally and emotionally overloaded, but really undernourished on the substantial level. And then there is a sense of emptiness. So you overload yourself and you feel empty. Really bizarre. If you think about it, you bring so much and there is totally emptiness. So remember this. Overfed and undernourished. The idea is not to be overfed, definitely. Not under, but, moderately fed and really well nourished. Anyway, let's continue with the teachings. So we talked about the emotional energy that, when it feels exciting, when it feels motivating, when it feels, creating so much elevation, it feels good. But we have to really discriminate if it really is good, if the content that is connected to the emotion is good. Depending upon the condition into which you are thrown, thought plays a most important role in your life. You meet a person on the street. You fall in love, just like magic. So you call it love. So you see Swami Vishnu says, you see a person in the street, and it's a love at first sight, right? Love at first sight. Now, what do you love? What do you love? Do you love the person? You cannot love the person because you don't even know the person. How can you love the person if you don't even know the person? So what do you love? What did you fall in love with? You fell in love with the sensation that the sight, the energy, the vibe, the tone, the pheromones that person emits, and they, press some buttons in you and generate a certain sensation. And that sensation feels good. And you fall in love with this feel-good sensation. This is what you fall in love with. You don't fall in love with the person. But the thing is that it's not the person that makes you fall in love, or it's not the person that makes you feel good. It's your reward system. It's your reward system within your own brain, within your own mind, that generates this feel good. Now, why on earth that person activated this reward system? It activated this reward system because, how evolutionary wise and survival wise, some things in your brain tells you that these genes that appears in this form, in this smell, in this looks, is a very good match, to reproduce. And this is what makes us feel good and lock on that person. So it can be a good mate and can allow us to reproduce. We don't see it, we don't understand it because it happens on a subconscious level. It's Mother Nature wants us to, reproduce. And it makes us feel good and say, lock on this one, make sure that you can get the ring on, and it's yours. This is it. And we can move on. Later on, what will happen if you like that person, you don't like that person, who cares? But first of all, lock it. Fall in love. So the thing is that you see, if a cockroach just happens to, move about and, around you, and all of a sudden, both of you see, cockroach, and you start to run. And now, from the perspective of the cockroach, how this attractive, beautiful, perfect match, perfect genes person looks like. From the perspective of the cockroach, how does this person looks like? Like a monster. Like a giant monster going all over the place, and all of us might also crush me. So when we fall in love, we have to, when we fall in love with something, we have to ask the question, why is that thing? Why is that place, that person? What is the thing, activates within me, and why? And why? So many times it's not rational. It's not because I actually checked and lived with the person and saw all his qualities and really know him and then actually love him. There is another agenda which is at play that I don't even see, that I cannot even recognize. Therefore, it is, as Swami Vishnu said, it's like magic. It's like, all of a sudden that person appears and boom, I feel, what, how? And I think that the person created the magic. No, it's your own system created the magic. The thought wave what's the time? Let's see. The thought waves take a specific pattern and suddenly there is a meeting of thought. That waves merge. Then after some time, perhaps, the thoughts change and instead of, I love you, honey, it becomes, I hate you, honey. So, in the beginning, especially now, you see, let's say I fell in love. But let's say the other person is really dejected or, how do you call it, averse. He has an aversion towards me. This is very, very, very painful. Like, I really want. And sometimes, I cannot see. The person is trying gently to, say no, but I cannot see it. And sometimes, if I can't see it, then it's like creating a cognitive dissonance, like how come? But let's say there is a match, and we are broadcasting on the same wavelength. Both of us are attracted. Both of us feel that this is like, we found our soulmate, and this is like the perfect match. Okay, this is great. But Swami Vishnu says, but the thing is that even this perfect match, which seems to be, that we nailed the Cinderella story, and now we are going to live happily ever after. This match is not going to change. We will always be like that. Well, the thing is, Swami Vishnu is telling us, it cannot be, because even you, it's not even about the other person, even you cannot stay the same. You are always changing, always changing. Although the change is very, very slow, although the change, sometimes you see National Geographic shows, and they show you like in fast-paced how like a plant grows, how the plant sends its roots, how the plant shoot up as a sprout, how it grows up, creates branches, leaves, fruits, then flowers, fruits, then grows, and then maybe at a certain point start to decay and fall apart and disintegrate totally. So our body change, our emotion changes, our tendencies and tastes change. Sometimes you see these party boats, and for some people at a certain age, this party boat seems like heaven, seems like the best, seems like the most exciting and at a certain later stage in life, it feels like too noisy, or even just like, this is how hell looks like, Exactly, this is like. So, but this is happening not only with the party boats, this also happened with another person. Because everything changed. Everything changed. So Swami Vishnu says, if you allow yourself to be totally managed by the autopilot, well, lo and behold, you will be thrown hither and thither by this pendulum of likes and dislikes, this pendulum of raga and vesha. Therefore, Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the teachings that he pound on again and again and again is in heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in victory and defeat, in censure and in praise, in all those dvandvas, the pairs of opposites. Learn to be steady. Learn to be centered and elevate yourself in this center, allowing yourself to grow in higher ability to see beyond the package, beyond the pressing on the buttons, beyond the emotional excitement and the emotional content. Try to see the content itself. Try to see the thing itself, beyond the covering, beyond the package. Okay, with this we will conclude for today. Om Tat Sat.